In this video, I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT to help you handicap an NFL preseason game. My name's MGCovers. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're watching one of my videos for the first time, tomorrow is Friday. It's something I call Free Fridays. I give out all my lines for all sports on Fridays on my Instagram page. All you have to do is follow me over there, spelled MGCovers with a Z. There's a link in the description of this video. So you simply follow me on Instagram. You get a ton of value simply by following me there. All right. So let's dive into this. First thing I want to pull up is let's take a look at the lines for tonight's games. We have 3 games going off tonight. Indy at Baltimore, Cincy at Philly, Las Vegas at Seattle. And without any other analysis, if we just look at this from the macro, we'll notice Indianapolis line opened at -1, Baltimore +1, but now it's moved all the way in favor of Indy at -3. -6 at Bookmaker. It's one of the sharper books. That's what I generally look at this site. This site I'm using is bookmakersreview.com. Same deal with Cincy, +2. Now it's at -6.5. And Vegas +1.5, -5.5, -5 in favor of Vegas. So very, very significant line moves. And so one thing we can do, and I'll talk about handicapping preseason overall, is starters, right? You have, they've reduced the number of preseason games. You have some coaches that want to win preseason games. I'll give you one really good tip out of the gate. A lot of your newer coaches, there's a ton of pressure on newer coaches to succeed in the NFL. You take a look at Schottenheimer for Dallas Cowboys. More than likely, it would be detrimental if they lost all of their preseason games. So if he opens up 0-3 for preseason, there'll be a ton of pressure on him from management, ton of pressure on him from social media. I know that sounds crazy, but it's part of our world now, and it's factored into, actually handicapping as well. So I think there's a ton of pressure on a new coach to win. So overall, we can assume all the new coaches do want to win and perform well in some of these preseason games. And you have coaches that are established, Mike Tomlin, with nothing to lose per se, maybe not take it as serious. Although Mike Tomlin, I just mentioned, has an incredible preseason record. So one tip, you want to look at how coaches approach the preseason. Now, obviously, we said this was going to be about ChatGPT, so let's dive into that. So in the past, what I would have to do, I would have to get on Twitter. I need to know who starting quarterback is for Indianapolis. Is any of these teams resting their starters? Why is this line move? I might have to research that. I might even watch a coach's presser to see his approach for the game. And so we slide over here to ChatGPT. What I did is I just simply went in here under, this is a user prompt. This isn't actual ChatGPT. I just made this into a PDF file because it makes it a lot easier to read. And you can see here over on the left, it says, the user prompt I said was, give me an in-depth analysis of tonight's Colts versus Baltimore game, line movement, why it moved. I just saw that, so I thought that I would add that in there. And it basically responds, Colts +1.5, Ravens -1.5. It gives the total, and it says the lines moved to -4.5. So again, it's not in real time accurate. It did get that part wrong. And I'm using the paid version of ChatGPT, by the way. But one important thing right here was, why did the line move? Quarterback usage disparity. Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones expected to play significant snaps, and Ravens backup like Cooper Rush, Devin Leary will take most of the reps. So there immediately we get the information that we need. So one good thing about ChatGPT, it can basically search the entire internet, consolidate that into a clear, defined focus, and rapidly give you that information. And it also mentions the coaching and preseason trends as well. Ravens, Jim Harbaugh has a historically strong preseason ATS record. I think he's similar to Mike Tomlin. He's up there at like 70%, but recently went 0-3 ATS last year. Whereas Colts, again, another new coach, relatively new, he went 4-2 in preseason games. It says this helped push confidence to the Colts side. So what you can see with Harbaugh, another thing you might want to handicap, and I've mentioned this many times before, the best indication of future performance is most recent performance. So that being said, and I think even if you go back, I think they've lost like I think he went 0-4 on the last ATS the previous year for Harbaugh. I'm not 100%. I didn't research that, but I think so. So what I'm saying is, even though Harbaugh has a very good preseason record, his mentality might have shifted now to where his main focus is to give his starters a rest, nobody gets injured, and then give these guys trying to make the roster a legit chance and some more playing time. So his philosophy, and I would put more stock in the most recent. Again, if you follow me for any length of time, that's something sort of a philosophy I live by. Best indication, future performance, most recent performance. So it looks now as though preseason is not that important to him, not as focused on winning. So again, you can see how ChatGPT just clearly gives you a consolidated look at this. And again, you could obviously apply this to other sports as well. It says market reaction. We'll read that. Sharp bettors back to Colts early due to QB edge and playing time advantages. The line swung over 6 points in total, making Indy a clear favorite by kickoff. Final take, line move Colts +1 to -4.5. It's now at -6.5, driven by QB play expectations, coaching trend, sharp money. The game provides a textbook example of preseason betting value based on depth chart analysis and market behavior. Now, you still have to handicap the game to some degree because obviously a line movement this drastic qualifies as what I say a public line move, meaning it's moved significantly. Obviously influenced by some sharp movement, but there is a ton of value that has been taken out on the Indy side, meaning you could have played Indy probably at -2, -3, and now you're going to have to lay -6, -6.5. So still some subjectivity to handicap as well. But nonetheless, that's basically a simple way to use ChatGPT. Hope that helps. Subscribe to the channel, like this video. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.